Greetings, sister. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Everything is fine. I'm doing good.
Good.
Um, I can
Okay.
hear you very well because I was going to ask you how's my audio sounding, but it looks like we got a clear reception. Let me turn my mic up.
Yes, it's good. I just want to plug up this computer because I want it to
Okay.
lose the battery. Okay.
So how's your Friday going so far?
Well, I'm thankful. I'm preparing to get on the flight later on today. So
Yeah, you're coming to Florida, right? You're coming my direction. Well,
I'm
not
going to
actually my
Oakland.
direction, but my state.
I'm going to Oakland today.
Oh, you're going to California. Okay. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's in December. That's next month. I'm looking
yeah.
right at it and still got the date mixed up.
It's all
So you're taking that 6 hour flight to California.
good. Yes, it is a long flight, and but I'm flying at night, so I will rest a good part of the night.
Right, right.
Before I know it, I'll be there.
Okay, so it's an honor having you as always. And I guess you can give the listeners a brief overview of who you are, where you come from, and I do have some questions to ask regarding like how did you personally get into Reiki? What inspired you or encouraged you to take on that journey?
Okay. Well, I am Rekhit Kajara Nebthet. I'm the founder of the Raseki Arts Temple. I am an author, an educator, a medicine woman, a priestess and healer, a community activist, a light worker. I'm also a dragon slayer and
That's
an
right.
author, a nature lover, um, and tree hugger. I always mention that. I'm also a mother and a grandmother. So I'm very honored to have entered the Grandma Club. And yes,
Me
it
too.
is a part of my purpose and my mission to be here at this time to share light with my people. And I dedicated myself to doing that, to uplifting my people when I was 20, 21, 30 some odd
Mhm.
years ago, something like that. And so I have been doing that to the best of my ability. I promote health and wellness, and I've been teaching, um, like I said, for the past 30 years, traveling all over the country. I've taught everything from Black history to yoga, and of course, now I do teach Kemetic Reiki, which
Mhm.
is Black people Reiki. And
Right?
we know everything started, or yeah, everything had its origins in Egypt and what we call Kemet.
Okay. So give us a little sneak peek on the California retreat that you're doing. What's gonna consist with that retreat?
So we are not doing a retreat in California. I'm just going to do classes, and sometimes we
Okay.
do retreats. Like we have this winter retreat coming up in Florida, and the retreats are extra special because we
Mhm.
have a full weekend, days and nights together. However,
Right.
in Oakland, we're just going to be doing a level one class. And our Kemetic Reiki level one class is it's the class that focuses on self healing. So, right now we are so thankful that people are beginning to see that we need healing. Everybody needs healing because
Right.
we all have, been
Even the healer.
yeah, we've been through our own personal stuff. We all have to heal from racism. We're healing from oppression. We're healing from, trauma from our ancestors. And so it is just good that people are now realizing, so people are talking about doing shadow work and inner child work
Exactly.
and all the
Mhm.
things that we need to do to help us to be better versions of ourselves. So that is what Kemetic Reiki Level 1 is about. We do talk about our energy and spiritual baths, clearing our aura, balancing the chakras. Just I say it's stuff that everyone should know. Like this is stuff that we should learn at home or even in school. How to make a spiritual bath to keep your aura clear. You know,
That's right.
that's
Mm-hmm.
stuff we should all know. So we're just bringing back those types of traditions and stuff that can help us in this time that we're in. We also going to do Kemetic Reiki Level 2, and that class is a practitioner class. So that is for those who want to help others to heal using energy healing. And
Mm-hmm.
energy healing is very broad. You know, Reiki is just a part of it, or just you know, I won't say a part, but
An
maybe
aspect of it.
it's
Mm-hmm.
the umbrella of which
Mm-hmm.
the other healing modalities come under. In the way that we see it in ancient times, because everything has energy. So we use sound therapy because, of course, the sounds have a frequency. They can take us up, they can take us down, take us all around. You know?
That's
um,
right. Make you feel good, make you cry, right?
that's right. That's right. Sounds affect us a lot. So, of course, we use that in our healing practice. Also, we use crystal therapy, and crystals have become more popular. More people are buying crystals, wearing them, using them in
Mm-hmm.
different ways. So we do also give people a more clear understanding in how to work with crystals, how to keep them clear, make it crystal grids, all kind of stuff like that.
Right.
And then, of course, using the crystals for healing. Um, we also work with whew, our energy healing sessions are very different from other forms of Reiki. I tell people that is like the difference between the Catholic Church and the Holy Rollers. And of course, we are the Holy Rollers. So we don't have quiet sessions. And, we do a lot of using the sound therapy. We chant, we pray. Um, Different things, as well as using our hands, which we call palm therapy. So we do all of those things in level 2. And yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in Oakland. We do still have time and space if you want to join the class, you listening in. You could just go to the website and register right there online at sekhihealing.com.
So people could go in person and attend it online as well.
No. When I do in person classes, it's just in person classes.
Mm-hmm.
However, we do also offer online classes. So, right now, we're doing level 2 online. We're probably almost halfway through. And
Okay.
then, and then we'll do level 1 online again starting in January.
Okay. So do you have a particular healing modality that you use for people, for our race specifically, dealing with the transatlantic slave trade syndrome, the traumatic slave trade syndrome, that a lot of people like to ignore, that's not there, but the genetics is holding those memories? And I personally feel like, and science has felt that way as well, that that's similar to why we behave the way we behave, because it's genetically embedded, and then those genes are being passed on. Nothing is being broken, it's just the same genetics being passed on. So now 500 years later, maybe even longer, but we'll sum it up to 500 years later, here we have a race of broken people, you know?
Yes, well, of course, that was the beginning of this place that we're in now, and then there's just been a continuous flow of
Hmm.
negativity that has created more, trauma in our lives. And our practice is one that is specifically for our people, because we do have things to heal from that no one else has had to endure. And
Hmm.
so we need to have our own spaces that we can come together and do some healing together, where we feel safe, where we're not surrounded by the same ones who oppress us. To put it,
Right.
that's just the facts. So, yes, that is a part of what we do. And it has been a beautiful journey. You did ask about how I got started, and basically, it was um, it was a charge that put me on this journey. I was
Mhm.
going through Sacred Women Gateways, and
Oh, okay.
it really, yeah, Queen Afua and her work definitely inspired me a lot and moved me to really find my purpose and to find this practice. So it was during that time I just really got like a spiritual awakening, and it was like a calling as well, um, to work with women and to work with children. And I was already a teacher. I had been teaching in the African centered schools for a few years before that. So, teaching is my background. And, I just got messages from my spirit guides, from the Great Mother Sekhmet, to do Reiki. It is something that I also did for myself. I had gotten very sick as a teenager and was in a lot of pain. And intuitively, I put my hands where I was hurting, and I just started to pray and just pray
Mm,
for pain to go away. And I
right.
mean, I just,
Self-healing.
yeah, I just, at that time, I had already been to like, the Jehovah Witness. I've been to Baptist church. I had been to a Muslim temple because I lived in Chicago, and so I knew a few different names for God. And
Right.
so I just remember calling all the names that I knew, and I called on the angels and the ancestors, and I just was like, any spirit that could come help me, please come take this pain away from me. And I went to sleep and woke up the next day and the pain was gone.
Hmm.
So when I heard about Reiki, I was like, oh, hey, oh, putting your hands on someone and praying.
That's
And
what I did.
yeah, that's me right there. I know
I
that.
did that already.
So I immediately, took a class, and my teacher was guided to attune me to all three levels of Reiki in one weekend. And I was
Mhm.
originally just going to have the level one. Then we decided to go to two. And then he was like, no, we just going to give you everything. That's what Spirit is telling me. So he did, and put me on a fast for 21 days. And really, that year I had fasted, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. I was going through different things. I was going through the Sacred Woman, I was going through the Reiki training, I was going through actually an Akan initiation as well. And so
Mhm.
it was just like a time where I just had a spiritual, like I said, it was like an awakening. All this information and energy was coming, and it put me in this place where um, I got this practice, and I was guided to share it, share it with my people.
Mhm.
So this was 2007. I had already facilitated several sacred women circles in different cities because I've always moved around. And so then I got this charge. Okay, now, you know, you got to teach the Reiki, and you got to restore it to its original practice. You got to, you know, let people know that it's not from Japan, and things like
Right.
that.
That's
And
right.
even
Because that's very important to know. It does a lot to your
absolutely, yeah,
psyche and your self-esteem, to know that something came from your
yeah,
ancestors,
it's important. And we
Yeah.
know all the sciences, all the medicines, the arts, everything had its origins in that Nile River Valley.
Mhm.
And we could say that because they left records all over these
Of
walls,
course.
records everywhere.
Yes.
So, maybe they weren't the first, but they were the first to record it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so with that, I just began to start teaching. And because I already had been a traveler, um, I made jewelry, and I used to go
Mm-hmm.
to festivals. So I traveled from Florida to New York to Chicago, all around. So I did kind of like a similar little circle type vibe, because that's where the majority of our people are. And so that's, how it all started. I really had no idea that, 15 years later, I would have a whole temple, and I have probably attuned, I don't know, 1,500 people by now. I'm not sure, I don't count, but I know it's been a lot. It's been a lot. I've done probably 40 retreats in the last 15 years, and traveled all over the world, all the way back to Egypt, to Kemet. So it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey. I'm just extremely grateful that I've been chosen to do the work, to work with my people. Met so many beautiful, beautiful people. Um,
Right.
when I go on social media and I see my students, I'm always just cheering and smiling and happy, because many of them are doing great things. Many of them went on to find their purpose and were able to just
Expand. Mm-hmm.
do some really, really powerful things. So, that has been just a reward, I would say, for the work and the sacrifices. And oh, I have to also mention the books.
Right. I was going to get to that next. I was going to ask
Yeah.
you about the prayer book. I remember a long time ago, we were speaking, and you were saying that there was a woman who said that she doesn't have a problem praying. She just don't know how to pray, and that kind of inspired you to start writing the prayers and chants book. And I guess by you writing that book, that just opened up more doors and windows to write other books too.
Actually, my door to writing um, first was Sistah Vegan. It was a book
Mhm.
put out by Annie Breeze Harper, I believe is her name, called Sistah Vegan. She had put out a call for women who were vegan to tell their stories in her book. And so I sent in, my story, and she added it to her collection. And so that, I was like, ooh, that was kind of feeling good,
Right.
to see, my story published, and to have that book in my hands. That was a real inspiration for me to continue. So when I started teaching the Kemetic Reiki classes, that was 2007. And
Hmm.
to publish a book in that time, you would have to have a few $1,000s, because you couldn't get someone
Exactly.
to self-publish a book for you without them printing like 250 copies or 500 copies. And so it was a challenge for those of us who wanted to publish. But also around that time, well, maybe 3 or 4 years later, um, other avenues and opportunities began to open up. So I had been teaching classes and going to Kinko's, making these copies, and I would go home and lay them all out and put these little packages together for the classes, and then create space. And I think it was maybe two more other companies opened the way for us to be able to print books, and not have to order 100 or 200 or 500 books. We could order one at a time if we wanted to.
Hmm.
So that is really also what helped that wave, and I'm thankful for that as well. So we published the first book, Kemetic Reiki Level 1, in 2012. It was my birthday present to myself.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And now I have 12 books. So
And that was the prayer and chant book, your first book that you published, or it
the
was another
first
book?
book was the Kemetic Reiki Level 1, which is the manual for the classes. The
Mm.
speaking with you talking about speaking with spirit, and that book came out maybe 2015. It was maybe like my third or fourth book.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you told me about that in like 2017.
Mhm. Yeah, I was working with some young people and they were going through stuff, and I was just like, are you praying about this situation? And I had a few of them tell me they didn't know how to pray. And so I was like, ooh,
Mm.
that's okay.
Right.
Do something about that. So that Speaking with Spirit book, it has prayers from ancient Kemet, excuse me, prayers from West Africa, and prayers from here,
Mm-hmm.
libations and other prayers. So it is very helpful. I've been told good things about it.
And then the children's book, I guess there was a pinnacle in your life that inspired you to do the children's book too? Oh, I think maybe we lost connection somehow. Let me see.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
And my signal. So with the children's books, I'm actually a mother of four. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I used to do was read to my children every night before they went to sleep. That was like our ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read many, many, many children's stories. And then I was just inspired to share, you know, some stories myself. So the first children's book was I Get Energy from the Sun. And that one is, I love that book. It talks about energy and really teaches children to learn how to tap into their energy. If you eat good food, you have good energy. When you show love, you get good
Mm-hmm.
energy. And then the sun brings energy to everything, the plants, the animals, and so much like that. I
Right.
also have another children's book. It's called Light as a Feather. And that one is the 42 Laws of Ma'at for children. So that one, it really teaches children to live with integrity, teaching morals, good behavior, good character. So that one is, I love that one as well.
Right,
Now,
right. They
right,
definitely need that. Yes, they do.
yeah, they do. And those laws, they can be helpful for disciplining children as well. I remember I would tell my children when they got out of line sometimes, just go read those laws in my eye. It'll straighten you right on out.
Right. Go
Don't
read
start
page 155.
they be standing. You don't stand in the corner. You go stand and read them laws. Get it together.
Right. Holding the book while you standing in the corner.
Yeah. And then, of course, when they finish, just reading those laws, you can't help but feel better. It's going to raise your vibration. It's going to make
Exactly.
something click, inside of your head, especially when you've been doing something you should not have been doing.
That's
So,
right.
mhm, that's good.
So how did you come into incorporating crystals with your Reiki, your
So,
healing?
I've always been a crystal lover. So long before, crystals became very popular, I was buying crystals, I was selling crystals, making jewelry with crystals. Um, my mama said when I was little, I would come home with a pocket full of rocks all the time. And I remember, being younger and just looking at the rocks and and it'd be something that's shiny, and I would be like, "Ooh, that's a shiny rock. Ooh, it's so pretty." So, I just feel like I must have been a crystal worker in a past lifetime because
True.
I really do enjoy working with crystals, and so they go together. Crystals radiate energy. Crystals can shift your energy and really can help. They
Mhm.
don't, like you can't just pick up a crystal and then have an instant change. But
Right,
you
right.
can pick up a crystal and feel that vibration bring a subtle change. It's like the more you wear it, the more it works, or the
That's
more
right.
you work
The
with
more you
it.
do it, the more it works. That's right. The more you
Yeah,
use it, the more you improve with it.
and it becomes it really can bring some shifts to your energetic field.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
for example, when you're doing some work to heal your heart, you can, of course, talk it out, is the first thing. Whatever it is that's heavy on your heart is probably something that you need to talk about to someone. So that is always first. And then laughing, being like comedy shows. And one thing I do also is I go look at the TikTok videos like before I go to sleep because I know I'm going to see something that makes me laugh. And I need to have at least one good laugh before I go to sleep so I can have a good rest. Because laughter is
Exactly.
healing. I mean, it really can help heal your heart.
Mhm.
Loving, the more you love yourself and love others. So, one of the
Right.
things that was really bad about the COVID time is that it made people separate and disconnect from each other, where we are beings who um, we need to be around our people. We need to have love energy on a regular
Mhm.
basis. And that also is very healing. So just that's why people, even though Christmas is a lie, they still will go home and have their family dinner because that's the time that family gets together. And that's the only time you can get that certain feeling, when your family is all together. So that love element is something that is very important for us to heal our hearts. Um,
That's
and
right.
then, doing other things, taking some herbs, certain teas can work with your heart and your blood. Eating more greens also can be helpful. The beets are good for the blood and the heart. But the crystals, if you wear a bra and you working on your heart, you can put a crystal right there next to your heart and wear that bad boy every day for,
It feels good. You're right.
yeah, for like a couple weeks or whatever. And you will feel yourself after that couple weeks have a different vibration overall. That is how the crystals work. Also, you could put the crystals around your bed if you want to have some other changes, some healing happening for yourself. Um, put some crystals or sleep with the crystals and program them and tell them crystals what you want them to do, and they would do that. That's one of the good things about the crystals. They're friends, mineral friends. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree. I love crystals myself. I love
Mm-hmm.
crystals myself. And wait, hold on for a
Okay.
Yeah, so what was I gonna say? Yeah, they even have where you can drink the crystals, like soak them in some alkaline water under a full moon or in the solar light
Mm-hmm.
for a few days or a few hours, and you can actually drink the crystal water. Do you
Yes.
offer that in your healing services as well?
I do talk about it in the class.
No,
So
I
I
mean, do
think
you actually offer it, the actual elixir, the crystal
I
elixir?
did offer crystal elixirs at one time, but I haven't done it recently. But I do drink crystal water for myself. all the
Mm.
time.
Right,
You
right.
can use quartz. That's really probably the best. Rose quartz also. And then shungite is also good to put in the water. It's a purifier. And
Mm-hmm.
I've also had tourmaline water before shungite came out. So if you just wash them off really, really good with some Castile or black soap and rinse them off really well, put them in that alkaline water in a glass container, and then
Mm-hmm.
cover it and sit it out and let the crystal juices, absorb into that water, and then drink it. And I will say, start off drinking a little bit at a time, and
Mm-hmm.
then you could build up as you feel
Right.
you need to. But it's helpful. It's similar to working with flower essence. Have you heard of flower essences?
Oh yeah, botanicals, yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those are really nice. And they do work very similar to crystals where you don't, you take the little drop and you don't necessarily feel it that moment. But if you do it every day, at the end of a couple of weeks, you'd be like, oh, like a little flower.
Yeah, you got to give it a chance to stimulate through the bloodstream.
Yeah, build it up, and they work on a subtle energy field,
Hmm.
so it takes a little longer.
So, what crystals or flower water or flower elixir would you recommend if someone wanted to rid themselves from negative energy, um, wanted to pretty much cut some attachments and cords? What method would they have to go through to get those cords and attachments decorded?
Okay, cutting cords. Anyone could cut their own cords. You can
Hmm.
do it with your hands and literally cut around yourself, like that.
Hmm.
And using your words of power to go along with it is what makes it more powerful. So you would say something like, I am cutting all cords and bonds that do not serve my highest good. And just cut as you say that all around and just release it that way. Um, Also, black stones are very helpful to absorb negativity. So if you
Hmm.
have a nice size black stone, a shungite, obsidian, tourmaline, um, jet. You don't find jet as much. Even hematite can be helpful, and you just want to take it and just rub it. You can touch your body with it all
Hmm.
around yourself, up and down, and ask that it clear you of stuff that's not good for you, anything that's not serving you. You can ask it to cut any ties as well. The black stones are really powerful to work with,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to clearing negative energy.
Right, right. Do you use swords to cut cords and
I
attachments too?
do, I do, but I don't
Because
encourage others unless you're good with a knife. Um, don't do it. But in our practice, that is, I do have a ceremonial knife that I use to cut cords in the classes if it's needed. Sometimes people have cords and don't even know they need to cut them. A lot of
right.
times, we have that. But when I feel it, I will help the person, baby, and cut those cords. Because we don't realize, every time you talk to people, you are exchanging energy when you're physically talking, and even
Oh yeah.
digitally. We
Hmm.
exchanging energy right now.
Yeah,
Um,
cyberspace, that's right.
that energy goes right through that computer. You better believe it. So, cords can be made really just that simply if you don't know how to protect yourself. Of course, if you touch someone, if you are close to them and you talk to them frequently, and if you are intimate with someone, that
Hmm.
creates a cord, even if it's just a one night stand.
That's
People don't
right.
understand. You create the
Yeah,
cord.
they think it was just one night and that's it. And, it's over with. It was just one night. There's no strings attached. Oh, yes, there is. I think there's more strings attached when you take that direction
It could be,
because you're so
because
unaware of what you're laying down with. You don't know what
exactly,
attachments they're bringing to the to the making love. You know what I mean?
exactly. And it could be a dumping situation in some cases.
Hmm.
Um, so that's a whole lot of energy. Sharing the essence of yourself with someone. It's not
Hmm.
something to be taken lightly. And it is also why it's exploited, in our community, especially
Yeah.
because it's such a powerful vibration. Like you can create a whole being, um, and you could create other things, with sexual energy. But you have to be careful because it can be overwhelming. It can take you over, and that would leave you living from your lower self. Um,
Hmm.
when you're living from your lower self, then you're not living from your highest and your truest version of yourself. And
Exactly.
that is why, we have to heal, why we have to cut cords, so that we're not walking around with other people's energy and allowing it to affect us because it can.
Hmm.
It can definitely.
Yes, trust me, I know. You start acting like that person, and you're like, "Oh, she changed since she got with him. She's more
Uh,
meaner, or
yeah.
she's
Mhm.
more rude and things like that." So yeah, you definitely take on that person's persona unwillingly.
It could come that way. It could come in all kind of different ways, but you definitely have exchanged DNA. If you
Hmm.
kiss somebody, so you could pick up a lot through that. And then if it continues, over and over, it just makes the energy a little bit higher.
Right.
Yeah. So cutting the cords, I would say, is important, and especially if you have a breakup or you have, people that you have outgrown. In some cases, you have to cut cords from them. Um, Cutting cords from your family sometimes, but that is very
Oh
hard
yeah,
because it's your family.
I know about that too.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
not easy at all, seriously. Especially if you grew up together, slept in the same bed together, took bath together, spend the night over
Mm,
each other's house together,
yeah,
fight together, swim together, double dutch together, all that together. Kickball, football, everything together. And then you take on a direction that's different from what they're doing. Like you're
mm,
evolving and they're just staying where they are. They're not a bad person, but they're not moving nowhere. And it's like they're mad at you and upset with you for wanting to rise up.
right. Yeah, that definitely happens.
And now you're looked at as the witch of the family, the voodooist of the family.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? The one who doesn't believe in God of the family. Why you don't eat meat? Where you gonna get your
yeah,
iron and your protein from? And then you explain that you can get these things from other sources. And then they go right back to I love my meat. I gotta have my meat. So then that conversation went nowhere because you don't care where other proteins come from. You want to get it from the animal. So now that you're not eating like them, you find yourself not being invited to certain things, which is fine because they can't feed you anyway. But then
right.
you find yourself trying to prove yourself that I'm not what you think I am, and then it just goes
Yes.
left after a while. So you just have to leave them where they are as you evolve and move forward in life. That's the lesson I had to learn from it.
Yeah.
It's hurtful because you want them to feel and experience what you're feeling and experience, and you know that it could help them, but they have to want it. That free will have to be there. And if
Yeah.
it's not there, then you're just going to be talking to the wall. They'll hear you, but they won't do anything about it.
Mm, that is very true. Most of us who choose to walk differently from our families, we go through that same thing. They don't want to accept our changes. They want to demonize us. And it is better to, you can't cut those ties, but you can separate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my children were younger and I would go see some family members, and just the way that they talked to me and about me in front of my children. And I was just like, yeah, we won't be coming back here for no Thanksgiving no time soon, because nobody should have to take that.
Right. It's like they planned it. As soon as she get here, we gonna say this and we gonna say that,
Well, yes, it's very harmful. And then when you do separate from the family, and that also, can be harmful, because it is your family, and
Yes.
you haven't talked to them, they haven't talked to you, and it creates this distance, which can be hard for the children, because now they don't have cousins and aunties and uncles who care about them. So
That's
it has
right.
created, some rifts, and a lot of hurt for us, who they call the black sheep.
Right. And
But
I always knew I was the black sheep, but when I left that whole religion journey and wasn't eating like them and thinking like them and talking like them and dressing like them and looking like them, that's when I realized, like, yeah, you are a true black sheep. That is the example of a black sheep right
that's
there.
yes, absolutely. But we are also the ones who, we had to break those curses, the
That's
generational
true.
curses.
To
I
show them that there
remember,
is another side.
the more healthy traditional way. I know I remember watching my people, I grew up watching them drink coffee. Everybody, on one
Mhm.
side of my family would wake up and drink that coffee. And, I just was like a child, like, I'm never going to drink coffee. Like, it's nothing, I don't want to ever have to wake up and I'm just running to drink anything other than water. That just seems strange. So that was a simple curse, that I broke in my family line. Um,
Mhm.
we talk about diabetes and high cholesterol being passed through the blood, but it's really not. It's not at all. It's passed through the eating,
That's upbringing. Mhm.
the way that we, even coming into this season that we're in now. Um, people about to overeat. They about to eat like they haven't eaten all year for the next 2 months. Month and a half. And put some stress on their bodies behind it, because they're eating stuff they haven't eaten all year. But it's a tradition, and people don't realize how much we enjoy eating together. Yes, that's great. But if we still eating chitlins
I
and
know.
that type of
The
stuff,
pig's feet
yeah,
and
all that,
pig's
even
nose.
turkey. If you have a turkey, you don't need a turkey and a ham. You know what I'm saying? Like, pick one, and really
Right.
nobody's eating ham at all, because that's just parasitic. We're not gonna get all into that. The idea is that we have the opportunity to create our own traditions, and it don't have to be centered around a turkey.
Right. You don't have
Even
to
if
always
we
be the
choose
date of Thanksgiving.
Right. We
Mhm.
choose to come together with the family. We could come together on Big Mama's birthday or Papa's birthday and have just a big family time. I do encourage people to do that all the time, so that we can break some of those generational curses, because people just doing it out of habit. And we ought to off of work that time. But
Right.
we still, there's other times we're out off of work. We can have some different times and set some different traditions. So I think that's really important. And I cannot, because somebody's saying Hetep, peace and love, Hetep food, Reunion Island. That sounds really nice.
Right. That sounds like a place for a retreat, huh?
Right. Reunion Island.
Union Island.
I did want to just mention the energy of the day. So today is 11/11/22. And of course, the double numbers have always been known to be a little bit more powerful. So 11 is a very spiritual number, excuse me, as well as
Mhm.
22. So today is the 11/11 portal, And we have that 22 energy working with it. So it's a good day for just thinking about your dreams and your goals, doing some writing, like writing your plans down, even writing your goals down on a paper. That's some using that spelling. Um,
That's right.
Talking about your dreams, your plans, and goals. Do some type of affirmations for yourself, whatever it is. You might want to just chant for good health, chant for good health for everybody on the planet. Chant for things to change positively, for our people all over the world. It's just a power day. So
Right.
it's
Things
a
that are
day
needed.
to create, to make things happen. And I just had to, since we are having this call on this day,
Right.
to put that out there. Everybody who's listening, it's 11/11 day. Make sure you use the power of the day. Go light you some candles, light some incense, do some, talking, making stuff happen. You have to think about it and then speak it out into the universe in order for it to actually happen. That is the process of creation for everything. So if you have a good attitude and you happy and you passionate and you don't have a lot of heaviness in your heart, you have the power to make it happen, whatever it is that you want. And today is a great day to put it out there. We want to build a retreat center. We want to have a place our people could just come. I've been traveling all over the world and country. If I had my own retreat center, I could have a space where people could come to us. And it would be a place we grow our own food. We'll have healers there all the time. We have a little store space. We have a little art space. Just a natural place. A place where we could just live in peace with like-minded people, and people could come and also receive some healing. So I'm putting that out there. I've been dreaming about it and talking about it for a few years now. And I know everything happens in divine time. So prayerfully, this time will be coming for us to make that happen very soon. And
So
so
what region? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
was just going to say, it's really just that simple. Talk about it, put it out there with passion, with love, and that's how we make it happen.
Right. So what region are you looking to have? Yeah, retreat center.
It has to be somewhere warm. That is the main requirement. So I'm definitely looking in the southeast. Also, I have been considering the southwest as well. So I've been going to Sedona quite a bit lately, and the energy out there is just, it's real powerful. So, I'm just gonna say I'm waiting for divine guidance to open the way. So it could be we go to, I don't know, Mexico or Puerto Rico. I don't know. I'm very open. I thought we were gonna do it in Georgia, but I don't know. I can't say for sure. I know that.
What about South Florida? South Miami?
Florida, it's nice. It's just
We have these conversations all the time.
all the time. She want us to come to South Florida. We coming, sis. We gonna come do a retreat at some point. But I don't know about building because South Florida is so watery. Like that land is too swampy to really build a lot on. It seems. I don't know. There's something about Florida that I would just have to really meditate on it. Maybe northern Florida where the ground is a little bit more solid.
Okay, like more near the Pensacola, Jacksonville area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Ghana? Would you see you trying to expand that in Ghana? Maybe that would be the second franchise.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I haven't been to Ghana yet, but I do have a lot of people who are in Ghana. Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing just so many beautiful things, hoping to go to Ghana next year. Okay. And I'm not opposed. If I could, I would set up a center right there in Egypt.
I know you would.
Let me go claim some of that if I could, So I
Right,
don't know.
right.
That's why I say, let's see.
You have to come to South Florida and do a Reiki class at Sophia's Gardens in Miami Gardens.
Okay, all right, all right.
Well, we could talk about it more offline, but
Mhm.
she always have like Ross Ben. I know you know Ross Ben.
Yes.
She has people like Ross Ben that comes through on a regular basis, and just other powerful guest speakers, because she has her backyard set up like a beautiful botanical garden. And yeah, that's where the events for Miami are being held, outside of the ones in Fort Lauderdale area. But
All
when they bring people like Ross Ben or someone like yourself to Miami Sophia's Gardens or the Haley Selassie Center, it's always a place that they come to. So Ross Ben is going to be at Sophia's Garden on Sunday. I'm
right.
going
Oh,
to have this Sunday coming. So he'll be here what, Friday, today, tomorrow, and Sunday. But I'll see him on Sunday. So I'm going to have that conversation with Sophia's Garden about having some Kemetic Reiki classes there at her garden. And I guess maybe I can have you on the phone if you're not busy around 8ish, 8 p.m. Sunday. Are you going to be busy around that
I'm on
time?
my way to Oakland, and I will not be available again until Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay. So then Tuesday we could probably do a three-way or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
forgot you.
give
Mhm.
Ross Ben a big old hug for me. I love Ross Ben.
I know, right? I sure will. Definitely will do that.
Absolutely.
Someone was saying that he recently lost one of his sons.
Yes.
So yeah, that's another reason why I really wanted to link up with him again. Because I've been trying to call him, but I guess, he's busy and stuff.
Yeah, you know the rest.
Hmm.
You go check him when he's around. That's the best thing.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I would love to come. Maybe I could just, do a workshop
Exactly.
or
Something like that.
something. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. So we'll talk about it.
So I know you said that you deal with the herbal medicines too as well. So what type of herbal medicines, like a blend, that you would recommend for someone who wants to take a spiritual bath and then also would like to drink it internally as well? Because like now I'm drinking this fruit called Prekesi is from Nigeria, Ghana, places like that, and they grind the seed up real
Mhm.
fine into like a powder,
Mhm.
and that's used for different purposes, medicinal purposes. If you just had a baby, it brings down the breast milk. It's good for postpartum stress. It's good to keep away evil spirits. It's good to keep you spiritually protected, so it has that medicine side of it, and then it
Yeah.
also has that spiritual side of it. So
Yeah.
something in that fashion, like what would you, maybe you have your own little, uh not little, but maybe you have your own package that you put together that you may want
I
to
do
recommend.
I have some baths and I have some teas. The baths that I have, I do put salt and baking soda in them so you can't drink them. But
Hmm.
herbs that you can drink also and bathe in, of course, I would say peppermint is at the top of the list. And
I love
peppermint
peppermint
is,
too.
yes, it's an activating herb. It's stimulating. It's good for the skin.
Hmm.
And also when you drink it, it's activating internally. The mint, it raises your vibration and your frequency. And then basil is another one that is like a kitchen
I
herb.
love
Like
basil.
everybody should have a basil plant because they are very good for clearing negativity, as well
Mhm.
as you can drink basil tea, like Tulsi basil more so. But
Right, right.
basil also is, I'm told they put it in the bush tea in different
Mhm.
islands. Um, and then rosemary is another one that is very helpful for clearing negativity. You could burn rosemary, bathe with it, and then also drink it. And rosemary is good for the mind, good for your memory, good for your eyesight too, I believe I read. So those would be three of my top ones that could go both ways. Sorrel, or rose hips, even though
Mhm.
it's red, it is good for the skin. and also good internally for your blood as well. And sorrel is, all of those herbs are easy to find. So,
Yes.
yeah, if you don't have access to a lot, you can find simple things that you probably already have some basil in your
Right.
house, even if it's dried, and you pour a
Hmm.
little bit in your tub or your spiritual bath, it'll still give it a little, you know what I mean?
Right.
Hmm.
So you have the herbal baths and the medicinal teas already for sale, huh?
Yeah, I do. I make them. I've been making baths and selling them, I don't know, 10 years or more, probably. So that I'm getting ready to, I'm doing too much. I have to admit, I'm doing too much.
You getting ready to what? Make
I'm
some
just
soap?
ready to stop making. So stuff that's on the website now, I'm getting ready to let people know I'm having a sellout sale, and in the first part of the year, I have a different product line, prayerfully,
Mhm.
but it won't be as much. I have too much stuff, and I'm good on that. I had my
Right.
time in making and selling, and whoo, child. Now I'm an author. Let me just, you know what I mean?
Go to the next steps.
Right. So we do have a set of Sekhmet healing oracle cards coming out next year. I have another children's book that I'm just waiting for the illustrator to complete. So that'll
Mhm.
also come out next year. And so, I just have some different types of products. And you know,
Right.
there's so many people making baths now, it's no need for me to. I always strive to be different, not to have the same thing that everybody else.
Mhm.
Been like that
That's
all
true.
my life. I'm just a little different, that's all.
Yeah, everybody have to. I think it's good that everyone should express their hidden talents and their hidden skills that nobody really has but them.
Hmm.
You know, or we have it, but some people just tap into it a little more deeper and utilize it a little more.
Yes.
So I know you were saying that in your bio was saying that you kind of you know been through the different religious sects and different the conscious communities. And what did you find when you was in the Rastafari community? Did you see a levels of elevation, or do you feel like
Now I don't
that's
know
what
why
you?
you trying to. That's a whole different conversation right there. I learned a lot being with the Rasta community, and I enjoyed, my time, the night bingies and the chanting, and we had some really great positive times. But I really, once there was a split, and it went from just Naya Bingi to 12 tribes and this one and Rastafari and all of these different sects. I just felt like that was division, and
Yeah.
it just really changed the vibe, for everyone. I remember we used to have this big, I forgot what they called it, but it was a big reggae camp out weekend that they used to do I participated, I didn't help put it on.
Hmm.
It must have been the 90s up in North Carolina. And it was a beautiful
Oh,
group.
I know you're talking about. I can't remember the name exactly. They would do it every year.
Every year we had
I
it
forgot what's the
outside,
name.
and it was a big thing. And those ones that were putting it on, they ended up moving to Ethiopia. Like once all of the confusion and stuff happened, it just split everybody up. And so they left, the event stopped, and it was a few of us still trying to hang on. But it seems like, I remember being at a night being the flow was a little bit off. People, they were talking about bringing other people in. So it was, yeah. It had
Yeah,
its time.
I
It
know.
had its time. It still serves well. I don't feel, um, I don't feel like it is as strong as it was the Rastafarian community. Now I could be wrong.
As it needs to be. You're right. It isn't. Mhm.
Hmm. And at one time it was strong, but other outside influences tend to affect things, especially when things are going good.
That's
So
true.
now you
Yeah.
see.
Right, right. Yeah.
Less families. We had families that was working, living together, building together. It was a good time.
Hmm.
Yeah, some good times.
Yeah, but it's always an honor to have you, sis. Always, always, always. I know we kind of went over our planned time. And I know you
Yeah,
have to get yourself ready for your California expedition.
absolutely. I do. But it definitely has been a pleasure and an honor to talk to you as well.
Yeah, it's been so long. And, over the years, everybody evolves in their own little special way. And, sometimes the universe circles things back around for a reason. So I'm glad that you are, in connection again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. We
Yeah.
definitely have had our times. So I'm thankful that you invited me and given me the opportunity to share with your guests. And I look forward to coming on again.
Yes, I definitely looking forward to seeing you next month after the retreat, right?
Yes,
Definitely after the 12th.
yes. So we'll talk about it and work it out. And again, I just would just say, use your power today. Use your ability to create. You are a god or goddess. And always remember the power is in your hands. All right, my
That's
sister.
right.
To the next time.
Also, someone from MMB Records said blessings.
Peace and blessings. Give thanks.
Yeah, give thanks to MMB Records and Jerome Garcia for commenting in the chat box. And we have the co-founder, the founder and the CEO of Raseki Temple. And she's doing a Kemetic Reiki winter retreat next month, December 9th through the 12th in Pensacola. Oh, I don't know if you want to say it, sis. I'm sitting here talking about it like it's my retreat, right?
Yes, we are definitely still open for registration. If you want to come and heal with us, go to the website, rasekihealing.com. We have listed a couple more retreats. So next year we're going to Mexico. We got a Ra and Reiki retreat for Mexico. We're looking to go to Jamaica as well. We have a trip planned to go to Egypt in August. And we will be listing some new retreat dates and class dates in the next couple of weeks or so for next year. So definitely tune in, tap in. Let's get this healing.
That's
It's
right.
time for us to heal. We got to rise up, We definitely got to rise up, and healing is a part of that process.
And that's why we need to have your face in the place once a month on Real Radio Talk so you can keep reminding the people the healing is in their own hands and that there's resources, there's things you can do to heal yourself from
Yeah,
any mental health issues, domestic violence issues. I'm sure you deal with certain healing modalities for people who have been dealing with domestic violence, right? And
absolutely.
mental health. Okay.
Absolutely. Everything.
So if you're tired of the traditional way and the therapist is boring and it's not working, then you can take it to a more holistic side.
That's right.
And she will be the one to help you channel through those areas.
Absolutely.
Yes, but much thanks, sis. More love to you. Love and gratitude again.
Yes, give thanks to you, my sister. Love and light. Until the next time, Uncle
Yes.
Jacineb.
Hey, Tappy.
Tapu.